what was said by our other guest, respected other guests, about this being US's message being directed towards the BRICS nation, including India?
Well, let me begin by saying a few words about Greenland.
Thank
The
you.
president seems unaware of the fact that since 1951, the U.S. has had a treaty arrangement with Denmark, and therefore with Greenland, that allows the United States unlimited access militarily to Greenland. It has a large base there. It's had large base there throughout the Cold War and the post-Cold War era. If the United States if Donald Trump rather, is concerned about Greenland not leaving North America vulnerable, he doesn't need to annex it. He simply needs to expand the base if he needs to, and he does it because it already does what it's supposed to do. So the bloviating around this on his part is hardly unprecedented, but this time reveals a profound lack of understanding of what America's national security interests are and how they're already being addressed through existing mechanisms. And when it comes to critical minerals in Greenland, well, they're all under about 70 feet of ice. If you want critical minerals, you can go to Canada or, dare I say it, Venezuela. They're a lot more accessible. And of course, annexing Greenland would mean that the American legal and regulatory system would be in place in Greenland, and there would be no mining, because that's the way this country has evolved. You can't mine anything here anymore because of a lobby, an environmental lobby, which is very powerful. So the status quo is the best possible arrangement from an American economic and security perspective. Regarding the broader issue about BRICS, I think my co-panelist is correct. As I said earlier, this rules-based international order, product of a particular time, reflecting political circumstances and interests at the time. That time is long past. It's crumbling as we speak, and the beginnings of a new order are emerging. And one of the possible nascent kind of manifestations of that is the BRICS arrangement, which is internally divided. India and China don't get along around things like de-dollarization and things like that, but it is a different forum representing a different,
Yes.
in what my co-panelists correctly characterized as the now emerged multipolar world.
Thank you for sharing that. And Dr. Rowe, would you like to add something to this, the old world order now transitioning into the new different world order, and also this past operations from US and also on Venezuela, and also this latest US seizing Venezuelan linked shadow fleets? How do you think this will be reshaping this transitioning of the world order? Where's the international law now?
Well, there is no international law, and we're now seeing that day by day by each of these egregious violations of what we thought was international law by the Trump administration. We are headed into uncharted territory, and what Trump is doing is enormously disruptive. There are a couple of positive things to draw out here, which I'd like to mention. One has been the overconfidence of many critics of the American hegemony, saying that America's rule is over, the time has passed, that BRICS and similar structures are being created to replace it, the dollar is falling, and so NATO is about to collapse. The European Union is about to collapse. There's been a lot of merrymaking and celebrating among those who are cheerleading the new multipolar order, as if it were a fact. Mr. Trump has given us all a cold shower and is reminding us that when the United States has no compunction about violating convention and doing what it thinks is necessary to restore and invigorate its global hegemony, then it wins. It is only if major powers like India like China and like Russia, make a common stand and are prepared to have a duel with Washington, that there's a chance of stopping this display of might makes right that we see in front of us. So that is a good thing. The other good thing that may come out of this precipitous attack on Greenland is that it may lead to the breakup of NATO. That would be a very positive development. And looking at the bizarre way that Mr. Trump conducts policy, I don't exclude it as having been one of his driving motives for exploiting the conflict with Denmark.
Right. And Professor Latham, what do you think about that? Do you think that, building on what Dr. Doctorow just said, do you see that if US versus, hypothetically, of course, US versus Russia, China, India, what will happen?
Well, the transition is the tricky bit, if I can put it blithely. When the Concert of Europe was born in the aftermath of the French Revolution, it was after a decade or so of violent, systematic, system-wide warfare in Europe. When the Westphalian system was born in 1648, it was after 30 years of war in Europe, the worst war Europe has ever endured, including the two world wars. And speaking of those two world wars, they were the birth pangs, as it were, of the rules-based, used to be called liberal international order, but it's been rebranded in recent years, the rules-based international order. So these transitions from one world order in decline to a new nascent world order often is accompanied by systemic warfare, world wars, if you like, at least within the European world as it was understood, and then the two world wars were truly global in scope. I have two fairly young kids. I'm hoping that that's not what marks this transition. I'm hoping that it will be peaceful. There is no doubt that the United States will not exit center stage willingly, perhaps even peacefully, and certainly not under Donald Trump's leadership without lashing out a few times. But we're looking at deep, deep tectonic structures that are shifting, and no man, despite what that man thinks of himself, no man is actually able to defy the laws of gravity or the laws of geopolitics. It's just that simple. What remains to be seen, I personally don't want to live in a world organized around the norms of the Chinese Communist Party. But I'm hoping that the interaction of declining powers, rising powers, regional powers, soft powers, middle powers, moral powers, all of that together in a peaceful context can result in a redrawing of the rules, norms, and institutions through which we human beings govern this planet. Maybe I'm being more than guardedly optimistic. Maybe I'm just thinking about my kids. But I am optimistic that, especially against the backdrop of nuclear Armageddon, which wasn't the case really in 1945 or 1815 or 1648, that will focus our attention on finding paths forward that are, if not completely smooth, at least not leading to nuclear Armageddon.
Yes, thank you for highlighting that. With that, I would like to thank both our guests, Professor Andy Latham and Dr. Gilbert Doctorow, for joining us today and sharing that insight throughout our news. Thank you very much. Now that's all we have time for. Keep watching NewsX World for more news updates from around the world.